Turns out this one's not as big as I expected.
Welcome to Baking with Frank. Frank Rush was a baker at the turn of the 20th century at the Uffelman Baking Company in Cincinnati, and then at his own bakery in Newport, Kentucky. Frank was also my great-grandfather. Through his handwritten batch-sized recipe book, I'm breaking down his recipes and getting to know him better. I'm Tom Mattingly, and this is Baking with Frank.
Welcome back to Baking with Frank. So we are a little further into the spring. We're once again promised to warm up. So let's have some chocolate cake. We're going to make today Frank's chocolate roll. Now, we've had one successful roll and one not successful roll. So we'll see how this goes. Here's what we're going to do. Into the bowl. Wait, take a look. Why aren't you working with me? There we go. Into the bowl, we are going to put 2 eggs. Just like that. And just like that. Yes, I am living on the edge here. 2 eggs. And get some of that off. 6 ounces of sugar. And we're going to give that a spin. In theory. There we go. And just for kicks, since we're here, I'm going to add in 4 ounces of milk. And I'm going to say a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, vanilla is not in Frank's recipe, as you'll see, but it's in mine. That looks pretty good. Turn that down a little bit. And so now that all that's incorporated, we're going to add in, look at me, we're going to add in, now I look away from you, 3/4 of an ounce of cocoa powder, 1/8 of an ounce of cinnamon. I'm going to admit that my scale doesn't go down to 1/8 of an ounce, so I guessed on that one. And it still was a lot of cinnamon, I gotta say. I'll show you. 3/8 of an ounce of baking powder. Again, come on. And 5 ounces of flour. All of which are down here. I mean, this is the cinnamon. Look at that. That's crazy. But, hey, we're going with what Frank did, right? Here we go. And then Frank's recipe has salt at the bottom. No measurement, salt. So I put in about a, half teaspoon of salt. You put a little bit of flour in there. I'm going to add in all of the cinnamon. So I did that because I remember something that may or may not be valid in this context about tempering the eggs with flour, or I don't know, something like that. So that was the 1/8 ounce of cinnamon. Here is 3/4 of an ounce of cocoa powder. And 3/8 of an ounce of baking powder. Just because I'm seeing it not mixing in very well. I'll scrape that down a little bit. Make sure we get all of the goodness up in there. All right. And we'll start adding the flour. Smells awful good, just saying. Cinnamon and chocolate. They're a delicious combo. All right, so I'm going to take that off because it is just about as far as I can get it with this. But clearly there's still a little bit of bits left in there, right? So let's just make sure that we get everything we can mixed in. I'm gonna give it a taste. That doesn't suck. All right. So, turns out this one's not as big as I expected. All right, so I'm going to spray the bottom and sides. And that'll stick the parchment paper down. Boom, just like that. Oven is preheated to 350. I just realized you've been looking at me. Just like that. Got it, okay. Oven preheated to 350. And this is actually going to bake fairly quickly if I remember. Of course, Frank left us no instructions on that either. And this one looks like it's going to be like a cracker, so. I mean, I'm not mad at a chocolate cracker. I have a feeling this is going to be a really fun experiment. But in any case, we're going in the oven, 350. I'm going to set it for 5 minutes and we'll see where we are. All right, while that's cooking for another 3 minutes so far, we're going to try something. So the quickest, that thing you got to do if these are going to roll, which we don't know because it might be a cracker, but if they're going to roll, is get them out and roll them up fast. So I have a regular, what's that thing called? Jelly roll pan. Jelly roll pan with a dish towel. And in theory, right, you turn the cake out onto this, then you can immediately roll this up while it's still hot. Right? Sure? Science. Let's see. All right. There it is. We're going to take a look. I've got this on just in case we need to flip fast. I've moved the other thing, right? Stay with me. Oh no, that's really wet. One back in. Okay, here we go, round two. All right, there. I think it baked. There. 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 That's hot. That's hot. Imagine that. Okay, that worked so far. Had to go and say that out loud. I'm going to peel this off. Lost a little bit, but that comes down to a sample for me. And while it's still hot, roll it up. Just like that. Didn't expect that. So we're going to let that cool. That's cool completely. And then we're going to put some filling in it. All right. So we've been cooling for a better part of an hour. And we're close enough now to start unrolling. No. No. I expected it would stick a little, so that doesn't surprise me. But And it broke in half, which also doesn't really surprise me. But we have here a vessel into which to put strawberry preserves, because chocolates and strawberries are objectively delicious together. Yes, the dogs are up and out and very interested in what's going on. Hello, Belle. I think that'll work. Put that aside. Ooh, that doesn't go in there. This is going to be a little more piecemeal than I, would have originally planned, but you get the idea. Kind of a swirl. Not really a swirl. Put it on a plate before all the strawberry leaks out of it. All right, just because I'm feeling fancy, and because likely this is how Frank would have served it. No way to know that for sure, but we're going to guess that he did a little bit more. I'm going to put a little sprinkle of powdered sugar on top. Just like that. All right, now for the important part. Let's see if I can get a slice out of this. Let's use the thing that's used to slice. Okay, that's a better representation of the swirl. Kinda. All right. There we go. Okay, the cinnamon chocolate cake is spectacular. This one dried out a little bit more than I wanted it to, but that's on me. The strawberry jam, also quite yummy. Next time I probably would do it with, well, no cracks, and whipped cream. But this would be equally good just with a chocolate filling. I'm gonna finish this.